Hey everybody out there, it's us again.
Hello.
It's Race and
This
it's
is me.
Reed.
Is that you?
It's me. I think it's me. Hold on, let me check. We are
Mixed
Race and Reed, Mixed Apes, and we're here to confound and bemuse.
Sure.
Bemuse?
I don't know.
Confuse, amuse. Confuse is
Refuse.
probably confuse is probably really the core of it. We're back with another
Wonderful episode of You Should Know This Song.
Yeah.
The world famous podcast produced here in lovely downtown Wentzville.
And we apologize for taking so long. We know that you have been just chomping at the bit. That like, where is it? You guys, come on. You know these things. This is a crafted show. It's really.
Handcrafted.
So welcome back and thank you for tuning in and checking it out. Hopefully again, but even giving it a try, just giving it a try. We appreciate all of that. And we hope that if you're back again, it's because you remembered to like and subscribe and hit your follows and your reminders and whatever.
And we will say again, we have decided that we're going to start dropping some stuff throughout the week, little challenges, little tidbits, little stuff. You
may have heard something by now.
By the time if your notifications aren't turned on, you may want to turn them on if you want to be notified when we're dropping stuff. It's not the regular weekly schedule we're talking about. This is just kind of little individual drops.
This is some fun in between. So something to keep you from starving, for an entire week until the next episode.
Sure. That's what's happening.
You don't sound very confident about my perspective on that. So we want to say a couple of things before we get started with the episode. But first, in this episode, we're going to do a round of Ask and Ye Shall Deceive.
Who crept up and slipped away with her? Yeah. And then I think we're going to try a new segment we're going to call Route 66.
I think you should be able to find this song on the map.
Nice catch there.
Yeah, here's your first.
A church house, gin house, schoolhouse, outhouse. A church house, gin house, a schoolhouse, outhouse.
It's ringing in your head. You're trying to find it.
It is. Go ahead. What's the next?
This is definitely a song you know.
On highway number 19, the people keep the city clean. What the hell is this?
Yeah, we're gonna treat you guys. That's how I'm gonna say it.
Sure.
I was gonna say we're gonna.
And that's gonna kind of be based on stuff with that specifies locations in it.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for there.
Yes. Songs that have that name a location or locations and challenge each other a little bit to name some of the locations that are in the song.
And then I think we have Uncontrolled Substance, which is, again, our excuse for just rambling about nothing. And this one we've got what we're calling Guilty Treasures. Stuff that you may really enjoy, but you wouldn't want to tell your friends about.
Guilty Treasures is a nice way of saying, confessing to things that
that's not your normal wheelhouse.
You should probably keep to yourself, I think is really what
relative to music. Because, we're sticking strictly to music on this. I just put soda through his nose. It was pretty funny.
I almost spit on the... Good thing he's got a foam cover on my phone. So, without further ado, what we're going to do is say thank you, Great Britain.
Oh, and Afghanistan.
Thank you, Afghanistan. Thank you, Thailand.
Yeah, Canada. We got some folks in Canada.
Thank you, Canada. Thank you, Russia. And New Zealand.
Oh, and Australia.
Thank you, New Zealand and Australia.
Absolutely.
And what we're doing here, for those of you who are like, come on, you guys, is what it seems like. We've been listened to in some other countries, and we're like a couple of giddy idiots who are like, oh, look at that.
Exactly.
And, we want to reach out and say, that's cool. Thank you.
Actually, in the States, and I'm going to pull it up.
The States, I mean, not to give short shrift to the great states here, but, it's 99% of who has listened. It might be 99.25.
I'm not just talking about the United States as a whole. I'm talking about the individual states.
Yeah.
I mean, we have listens
Give
from
us that.
At least 3 states. Actually, I'm sorry.
And they're states with large prison populations. So
No, I mean pretty much we have been listened to in more states than we have not.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is that's
Missouri,
a line to cross.
Missouri, Wisconsin. I can say Wisconsin. I really can. Illinois, Indiana,
Yes.
Florida, Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, Texas, California, Michigan,
We're
Iowa,
doing this.
Massachusetts, Mississippi, New York, Arizona, Nevada, and then Colorado, D.C., Georgia, Hawaii, Louisiana, Maryland, Minnesota, North Carolina,
Wow.
where my family's from, New Jersey, New Mexico, all the new places, and then several of the South places: South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, West Virginia.
My mama.
That's all time.
And the next line in the lyric is "Get your kicks on Route 66."
There you go. That's kind of the thing. So anyway, we've actually got a handful of folks listening pretty much from all over the country and
Hey, thanks everybody.
all over the world.
Now, get in your car and cross the state line and go tell somebody in the state next to you who hasn't got
Hungary.
to listen.
India,
Wow.
Malaysia.
Wow, they are.
Poland, South Africa. My daughter-in-law is from South Africa. We mentioned Pakistan and New Zealand, Canada, Thailand, Australia, UK,
This is fun.
Chile.
I mean, come on.
I'm telling you, Germany, Somalia.
Is anybody out there bored with this yet?
I'm having a blast.
You
personally.
shouldn't be, because I mean it's really in a silly way it's fun to watch the thing spread on the map and whatnot. So the realization isn't lost on us that it's quite easily just people at 2 a.m. with nothing else to do, accidentally finding
searching
it,
for something else,
like
yes.
seeing the logo and
Yeah.
being like, I want to click on that because the logo's going to go, whatever.
or
'cause
something else that you should know.
millions-
Perhaps they've inadvertently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Millions of people at any given second are just randomly searching, but nonetheless, several of those locations have, a couple or 3 listens. There's reason to believe that there are some people who are checking it out. So, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Welcome.
so much
And
for all of you in all of those locations, and the ones that haven't even
the
listened
ones
yet.
that haven't listened, we thank you
Thank
because
them.
we know you will. Because you will.
Okay.
And if you got any comments, we want to hear from the other countries too. We don't know. Maybe you've got a perspective on things that will help us.
Why are you people so stupid?
Tune
Even-
up the
even
show.
that would be
Right.
legitimate.
Right. Oh, you guys are from the United States. I get it.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, enough of that blather. We're going to get on with the show, and we're going to get some You Should Know This Song action all over you guys. So here we go, right?
With Ask and Ye Shall
Deceive. Coming right up. Okay, Race of Apes, I have a thought. Actually, I have a question. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I'm going to start.
That's really selfish of you, and I appreciate it.
That's
So,
me. That's me.
You do your thing.
I have a Ask and Ye Shall Deceive. Let me ask you this, Reed. Where can we get ourselves a decent meal?
Where can we get ourselves a decent meal? Get myself a decent meal. I know that I could figure that out,
Oh, I'm sure you could.
but I need too much time.
Relative to rock and roll?
Relative to music,
Okay.
yeah. Stopped in to get. It's like trying to tumble together in my head. Go. What is it?
Down at the Rendezvous.
Down at the Rendezvous.
Memphis in the Meantime, John Hiatt.
Yeah. Okay.
That's written by John Hiatt. And for some reason, I don't have the actual year, but I'm going to say I'm not even going to guess.
Come on.
I'm not
Come
gonna guess.
on.
I'll
What
be
do you
wrong.
think?
I'll be
Like, really,
wrong.
what do you think?
I really think I'm going to say somewhere mid-'80s. It's either Bring the Family or the album is either Bring the Family or the one that was right next to it, because they were right next to each other in my CD collection.
Okay, folks. So what I've just done there is set up an invitation to chime in and tell us what Race should have said with regard to the year and the CD album name for that John Hiatt song. So send us your input there. I think he might be looking on Google right now, but he's not going to say it out loud.
I'm not going to say it out loud. I'm not.
So tell us what he should have said, folks. Send it on in. Are you ready for mine?
I'm ready for yours.
All right. My question for you is, who was I down at the New Amsterdam with?
Probably Mr. Jones, a yellow-haired girl and a black-haired flamenco dancer.
Very nice, Mr. Jones.
I believe that you've actually used this particular song, not in an
not
ask.
for this, right?
Yes. So,
and I did think of that when I was thinking of this as a question, but I loved the question so much that I just threw it in there. I thought it would for sure be one you would get, but I just love the question. So that is the song Mr. Jones from Counting Crows. There are so many people I can name in the writing of this song.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's like 20 people.
Yeah.
Is Mr. Jones one of them is my
I'm
question.
Say,
maybe the yellow-haired girl or
I'm going to say Adam, Ben, Charles, Daniel, David, Matthew, and Steve are all involved in writing this song.
That's everybody in the band and their little brothers.
And their little brothers. You know who you are. 1993 from the album August and Everything After, of course. Is that a seminal album for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would the word seminal be?
I mean, I'll tell you what, I pretty much know just about every song on that album.
Is that right?
And I couldn't tell you that I know a bunch of other Counting Crows, but yeah, that's an interesting fact. To me, that's my favorite album. I don't know that they've got a couple more.
I do love that album, and I like a lot of their songs, but I know a little from a lot of their albums.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know a few songs really well from a lot of their albums, so I don't think I know every song off that album. Although they had so many popular songs on there, I could be wrong. I might very well know every one of them.
All right. Okay. You ready?
Should I know the answer to this question?
Know the answer to this song. How does she make Lyle Lovett feel?
Oh, man, I know this song. Lyle Lovett and his...
large hair.
Large. But what's the name of his band?
It was Lyle Lovett and his large band.
Large band.
But there was a radio station in Chicago that I listened to that would always say Lyle Lovett and his large hair.
And his large hair. Yes, because he wore it that way.
Pompadour.
I don't know.
She makes him feel good. That's the name of the song.
That's the name of the song. She makes me feel good.
Yeah. Let's see here. I have got Lyle Lovett. And again, I don't have the year.
I haven't thought about Lyle Lovett in a very long time.
I love Lyle Lovett, man. He has...
love some Lovett.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a bunch of stuff. There's an album called Joshua Judges Ruth, which are actually 3 books in the Bible in the order that they come.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's got a bunch of really stuff that stuff you didn't know by him, but when you hear it, you're like, oh, damn, that's good. He does a version of If I Had a Boat. Mm-hmm. You know the song?
Yeah, I do.
That's pretty cool. And he writes almost everything he does. He's musically talented across multiple instruments. He's a pretty good guitarist as well.
Phenomenal musician.
He has no problem crossing genres, and everything I've seen or read about him, it sounds like he's really a great guy.
Yeah. I've seen a couple interviews, and he just seems to be...
And he was married to, what's her name for 15 minutes,
chill, super vibe. Julia Roberts, right?
Yes.
Isn't that who that was? Why do I even know that?
It was on the cover of magazines when you were standing by groceries.
It's kind of silly that I remembered that. I don't know a lot of Lyle Lovett, but what I do, I love.
I can't claim to know a lot either, but I know that what I know I like.
Yeah. It's just great. There are some tunes that I haven't thought about him in. Like, I haven't thought about his songs in a while, so I'm glad you mentioned him because I'm going to go listen to some Lyle Lovett now.
There you go. And there's some tunes that's kind of the deal here, folks. That's what we're pushing for, right?
Absolutely.
Remind you to go check out some stuff, even if it's not stuff we mentioned.
Right.
Check out some stuff that you haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got there,
hopefully
big guy?
It triggers you. You should know the song that is the answer to this question, if I can just... What's happening to me in the corner, me in the spotlight?
You're losing your religion.
That is correct. I am losing my religion.
The Michaels and whomever else was involved in writing it. I know that there were 2 Michaels in it, but
Michael Stipe and look, my sheet has lost the information.
Well,
I'm gonna have to circle back to that.
And someone might have to contact us and say, "You should have known
remind
who wrote
us.
this."
Yes, I should have known who wrote that.
Cool.
I put that in there, and I don't know where it went. So now it's going to show up in the middle of another clue and confuse both of us. That'll be great. That is off the album Out of Time from 1991 by the band REM, of course.
And they did own some radio time for a while there.
Man, did they. Yeah. Did they deserve it. I had, in a previous episode, complained a bit about not hearing enough REM in the airwaves. And oddly, in the past probably 2 weeks, out in public. I've heard more.
Well,
REM.
someone heard you complain and was trying to solve the problem.
Somebody.
And they are again out of that Athens, Georgia scene.
Yeah.
Them and the B-52s and other bands.
Yeah.
Todd Rundgren produced a bunch of them. We've talked about that before, I believe, right?
We touched on
so I'm not going to belabor that.
But that good era of alternative music that we both love as well.
Absolutely.
And so many do, rightfully. What do you got for me? Ask me a question. Go ahead.
So this one, you should be able to pull this one off pretty easy. Who crept up and slipped away with her? Yeah.
I appreciate you doing the
full thing that you do. Yes.
lyrical effect so much. Gollum, the evil one.
Gollum and the evil one.
Oh, I thought it was just Gollum, the evil one.
Well, I may be wrong.
Because Gollum is the evil one.
No, Gollum is just an agent of the evil one. The evil one, he whose name cannot be spoken.
Yeah, that I know, but I thought, okay, well, I'm going to look that up. I've always thought that was Gollum, the evil one. Or people can chime in and say, hey, Reed, you
okay,
idiot.
I think we beat that one up.
Okay. I'm not
so that's Ramble On.
Ramble On by Led Zeppelin.
By the Zeps, Page and Plant off of Led Zeppelin 2.
Dose.
1969.
Such a great song. Such an awesome tune. Musically, there's so much cool shit going on there. So much candy for your ear.
A reference
to
Tolkien,
right?
Can't go wrong there.
I mean, that is awesome. Okay, are you done?
I'm done.
Are you
I'm as done as I get.
I will ask you, what did Ronnie say that this is just like? Did Ronnie say it's just like?
Well, I know the song is Eddie Money.
Yeah.
And he's talking about Ronnie from the Ronettes. Just like Ronnie said. Just like Ronnie said. Be my little baby.
There you go. Be my little baby.
Yeah.
Take me home
tonight. And by the way,
tonight.
what an amazing voice she has. Still at that time, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And I think even just a few years ago.
Yeah, she has done more recent stuff. I'm not sure if she's still with us though.
Yeah, that's why I said a few years ago, because I thought I heard she passed, but I guess we got to figure that out, right?
Ronnie Spector.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. While you're talking,
yeah, you figure that out. We shouldn't leave that kind of thing hanging out there for whenever it gets corrected. So that is the song "Take Me Home Tonight" by Eddie Money, written by Ellie Greenwich, Jeff Berry, and Phil Spector. From 1986, off of the album "Can't Hold Back."
Fortunately, Ronnie Spector passed in 2022.
2022. I thought it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
So my poor memory was vaguely better than I thought just then.
And she was married to Phil Spector. There was a whole Svengali thing going on there.
Yeah.
And he is certainly a character and a half, and that's all I'm going to say because my lawyers have
very
suggested
deftly put, and I appreciate
it. I don't say anything further.
As do our lawyers. Okay, I think it's time for you to, needle me with questions.
I'm going to ask you, let's see, who needs to hide it in the pantry with their cupcakes?
Who needs to hide it in the pantry with their cupcakes? I am not getting anything from that.
Really? Okay, this is a song that you definitely know.
Hide
you
it
absolutely
in the pantry
know the
with their cupcakes.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Mrs. Robinson needs to hide it in the pantry with her cupcakes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I should have known that, for crying out loud.
You absolutely should have known that. That is Mrs. Robinson.
Why didn't that occur to me?
Because your brain dead.
So obvious.
I have no idea.
That is a blatantly obvious one.
Yeah, exactly. Written by Paul Simon. I did read some interesting stuff about the movie. It was from their album. Was eventually on their album Bookends in 1968. But they were actually asked to write music for the movie. Mike Nichols.
Yeah.
The great director, but also a member of a comedy team called Nichols and May, Mike Nichols and Elaine May, that is from when we were little kids. That's how long ago it was. Like early 60s.
Remember the reference.
My mom had one of their comedy albums, and it's fucking hilarious. But at any rate, he was the director. That was one of his earlier movies, one of his very first movies. And he asked to have them do some music, and they brought him a couple of songs. and he didn't really care for either one of them. And then I believe Garfunkel said, well, could we use Mrs. Roosevelt? Because they had a song that they were working on. It wasn't done, but it had a three-syllable name. So they were flipping different names through it, and Roosevelt was one that they were using at the time, right?
Yeah.
And Simon's like, I don't know, let's, and they played a little bit of it. He's like, oh, and then the DT thing, because they didn't have lyrics for that.
Yeah,
that was all. Yeah. And Cuckoo was a reference to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Right? But it was a really interesting little read. And I'm sure you could, look up the story
check it out, look it up. That's fantastic.
And they won a couple of awards, but they couldn't win the best original music for a movie because they'd already written the song before the movie came out, before the movie was being done.
Right, it wasn't specifically written for the movie.
And apparently, Joe DiMaggio caught up with Paul Simon at an event, and he's like,
why have I left and gone?
I just did a Mr. Coffee commercial. Like, literally, this is what
right.
Or I'm paraphrasing, but this is what I just did a Mr. Coffee commercial. I do these muffler commercials. What do you mean, where have I gone? He's like, what I was talking about was like what you represented, which was integrity and honesty and personal duty and so forth. That's what it seemed like we were losing in 1969. And by the way, still in 2023, 24. But that's what I was talking about. And he said, thank you very much. They shook hands and they said goodnight to each other, and that was the end of it. But like he wanted to know, like, what were you talking about? I wasn't
not dead.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't die. You act like I died, right?
Absolutely. So
that was a careful. It's funny to think about that being written into a lyric and then deciding to throw that out there, because I don't know Paul Simon, as you may know. You may have thought I did, but I don't. And I have to credit him for being smart enough to think, I wonder if this is going to go over okay publicly with Joe DiMaggio.
Who was
this
Joe
lyric out there?
DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, I mean, like a hugely revered
figure.
He
understood
he represented honor and integrity.
Ultimately, it was intended as a compliment, although that's a risky way of putting it out there. Very cool story, and worth going to pursue. Go check it out, boys and girls. See for yourselves.
All right. What do you want to ask me there, Reed?
I have a question for you, Race.
What is that?
I came to get
down.
So what do you want to do now? I came to get down. I thought you would know this song.
No, I don't have it.
I think maybe you don't know this song, actually. You should know this song.
Sure, that's what I hear.
It's like a song that...
we should do a podcast by that
We should probably do. Came to get down, so get out your seats.
And jump around. Who is this?
And jump around. House of Pain. I came to get down. Get out your seats and jump around. No?
No, doesn't
jump up and get
brain.
down. The only reason that I put that in there is because it's such... obviously not as much as I thought.
Are you
but
I
mean, it's such a...
I probably actually know it. Once I'm going to go listen to it after a while and go, oh, like shit, I should have known it.
It's got the scream in the front of it with the beat going on to start the song.
The beat does go on, by the way.
The beat does go on. That is House of Pain. That is the song Jump Around. Larry Muggerood, Eric Schrody, Lou Donaldson.
Have you just started English, or is this...
Those three are the writers. And 1992 is when that was put out, and it still plays as if it was put out yesterday off of the album.
That seems to be a...
recurring theme?
A recurring theme with you, and I'm not complaining in any way.
No.
But it's a good point that you make. Like, if something... Maybe it's not hugely timeless, like, Mrs. Robinson kind of a thing, right? But if it's something like... Man, that could be a hit today.
Yeah.
That says something about a piece of music, right?
It sounds fresh, right? It still sounds current. Yeah, anyway. Not true with everything. Anyway.
Oh, but you do.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll shut up.
No, you don't have to, but, do.
But
then ask me a question about a song.
I have a question for you, Reed. You are such a nice guy. In what kind of time do you learn to live again?
Oh, I know this.
Sure you do.
Yeah, hold on. It's coming.
I love the faraway look in your eyes when you're doing this. He's looking off in the distance, like he's going to read it on a billboard.
I'm watching the road as I'm driving a car all up and down my mind. You know what I mean?
Waiting for
There's a curve. No, turn there. I'm sorry. I deeply apologize for that description. Give me the clue again.
In what kind of times do you learn to live again?
Times like these.
See that? I tossed
Times
the
like
as
these.
time on the
Yes.
S on the end. Yes, that is the answer. By the
wonderful,
Foo
fabulous
Fighters that
Fighters of
we
Foo.
are both fans of. You're
there are
obviously
many
much more
fans of.
knowledgeable about their music than I am, and I say that
Maybe.
sincerely.
Maybe.
Taylor Hawkins, Nate Mendel, Taylor Hawkins, R.I.P.
Yes.
Nate Mendel, Dave Grohl, Chris Shiflett, and Nick Kershaw wrote that song.
Yeah, once again, Foo Fighters, man. I
Can't get enough of them.
I am not
Apologetic at all?
by any measure the knowledgeable person. I mean, I know some people who are,
Ian, my
Foo
son, who we both
Fighters,
know. I mean, Ian.
and I would love to be because I just love the guys. I love their
anything that
music,
Dave
but-
Grohl knows does Ian's pretty knowledgeable about. And
right.
He's not afraid to share that either. So,
Right.
He's a big fan.
I'll engage him because it's interesting. It's all fascinating.
What do you got there, brother?
Let's see. If I asked you, what does the real tough cookie have a long history of? What would you say?
Breaking little hearts like the one in you.
That is correct. That
Is my girl, Pat Benatar.
correct.
I was in love with Pat Benatar back in the day.
She's still touring and all that. In fact, I
Yes.
think I just heard she's coming in town this year.
Really?
I think I just saw that.
That would be something that you could drop on one of those little midweek drops that we're talking about.
Absolutely. List of bands and artists who are touring, who are hitting around. I'm going to do that. I'm doing it.
Okay.
Race.
Sure, you go for it, Reed.
That was Hit Me With Your Best Shot, the wonderful hit song by Pat Benatar, written by Edward Schwartz.
Who did not write the Pet Shark version?
You didn't.
Sorry, wrong segment.
You didn't need to say that, but I appreciate it, and probably 10 or 12 people out there do. 1980 was the release off the album Crimes of Passion, and a lot of other songs off that album too. And yeah, Pat Benatar
her
was
first
great.
couple of albums
great.
were just like pretty much everything on those first two albums
Yeah,
was a hit.
it was
And
ridiculous.
the third one wasn't bad either.
You love them, you don't. They were all over the radio.
Oh, yeah.
There was good.
I mean, that was
good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, even, anyway, it's not worth commenting on any further. It was great. And thank you, Pat Benatar.
Thank you.
Okay. It is your turn, friend.
So let me ask you this. Who's caught between the longing for love and the
struggle for the legal tender? Do I need to go on?
Yeah, you need to answer the question.
The Pretender.
Okay, there you
is
go.
Caught between where the who takes aim? Oh, and lay their claim to the heart and the soul of the center.
I can. Are you there? Say a prayer. I
Yeah,
can't find the word
I know
you're looking for.
all the
Except for that one.
What is that word? Anyway,
I don't know. We'll have to look.
my mind wants to say a bean enchilada, where the elves take aim and lay their claim.
God help us.
Okay,
so that was 1977. Performed and written by Jackson Brown on the album of the same name, The Pretender. I'm having fun with this one.
Yeah, no kidding.
What do you got there, big guy?
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
When you take your baby by the wrist, what flower is in her mouth?
Well, I don't know about the flower because I thought it was an amethyst, which is not a flower, but a gem.
Wow. You know what I did? I had a brain cramp.
Oh,
right there.
You thought an amethyst was a flower.
I wrote down flower because for whatever reason, I had a vision of a flower in a person's mouth. But I know an amethyst is not a flower.
Okay.
But there we are. That's out there for everybody, and I'm leaving it for everybody.
That's
it's
fine.
right there. So what gem is in her mouth would have been the question. And that would have been an amethyst. And do you know the name of the song? Of course you do.
I can see it there
Yeah.
because it's on the screen, Dance Hall Days. But what it makes me want to ask you is,
Do you?
Want to Wang Chung tonight?
Do you want to Wang Chung
Exactly.
tonight?
I
Of
can't help
course.
that.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't-
Everybody.
And it doesn't get any better, by the way.
Everybody should Wang Chung tonight. By the way, folks, if you hadn't figured out that is the song Dance All Days by Wang Chung. She doesn't have a flower in her mouth, for crying out loud. Jack Hughes wrote it along with Nicholas Lawrence, Feldman, and Darren Costin, and that was 1983. Points on the curve.
Back in the olden days.
Back in the olden days.
All right, I got another one for you if you're ready.
I am ready.
What did she say when the preacher asked me?
What did she say when the preacher asked me? I'm blanking. I am totally blanking. I know that's not what she said.
She said, he does too.
I don't know it.
The preacher asked her, she said, I do.
I do.
He does too. She said, he does too.
I'm not getting it. I don't know this.
Again, I love it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know.
She's No Lady.
That song? She's No Lady.
That's No Lady. That's My Wife is the lyric.
Yeah,
you know the song.
I've heard it, but I have not heard it. I haven't heard it.
That's one of my favorite lines.
I love it.
The preacher,
not making a pun off of I love its last name.
The preacher asked her, she said, I do. The preacher asked me, she said, he does too.
Exactly.
It's one of those things that's just so very...
Yeah.
Catches it. It catches
right.
it.
It's super catchy.
So at any rate, that was She's No Lady. Well, I love it. And his large hair again. I did not catch the year. And for some reason, I've got a couple of these. I must have done something with this spreadsheet.
Well, I haven't screwed up at all. So it's all on you.
Not on my spreadsheet.
All the screw-ups.
And I am responsible for all of my screw-ups. And because of this show, I'm now apparently also responsible for yours.
Yes, that's what the lawyers tell me.
Excuse me, please.
Yeah, I have heard that song, but not only a couple of times. So
that's one
not a knower. That's one I'm gonna go listen to.
Really, again, it's I love it. So you got to hear it.
Absolutely.
All right, so you got one more for me?
I got one more. I think we're on lasties here. Is that not right? You started?
Yeah, I started.
Yeah. So the question I have for you is, where is Jesus bound after just leaving Chicago?
Well, he's bound for New Orleans.
Yeah.
But he's working one under the other and all the points in between. That is a great song, a great bass line, one of my favorite bass lines.
Yeah.
And just such a groove, man, such a fucking groove.
I know. They did such a great job making that all sloggy.
But I mean, like, there's that stuff from that era. There's that, and we just talked about it earlier. What was the
Just Got Paid Today?
Just Got Paid Today. Man, just all that stuff from that era is just so strong and powerful. Yeah. And it's a three-man band,
and
dude.
Those, right. When you say all that stuff, I assume you're talking about all the ZZ Top's
those
stuff.
Those first 5 or 6 albums?
Yeah.
I mean, and not that they weren't all great. I'm not saying that. But
right.
They were,
but they weren't. She's Got Legs and Sharp Dressed Man.
Exactly.
And
all that stuff's cool, and that's when everybody knew them.
Right.
But I'm talking about
popped up, and
in the early 70s, right?
Right.
What
they were doing
73
on that song in particular. They were doing rock blues.
I heard it on the X. I mean, there's that
song is unbelievable.
Phenomenal tune, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to rant about these guys for a minute, man, because that stuff then was so good. And you know that they are the state band of Texas?
I did not know this.
Yes, and I believe that they are.
I didn't know there was a state band for both states.
Before. But
so they sort of got the keys to the city, but for the state.
Somebody said, you're the official state band.
You're the official band of Texas.
And I think there was also like...
Sure, there are some people who can...
a Heroes of Texas thing was... I don't remember the exact words.
That I can see.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, you got me at hello there. You know what I'm saying? You had me at hello with that one.
That's pretty great. Okay, so that was, of course, Jesus Just Left Chicago, ZZ Top. Billy Gibbons, Dusty Hill, and Frank Beard wrote that and put it out in 73 off the album that is probably without a bad note. Tres Hombres. Without a bad
Tres
note.
Hombres, absolutely, yeah.
Sit down and listen to it as soon as you get a chance. Right, sit down, shut up. In fact, I would say get in your car and put it on loud and just drive. Go down the freaking highway, do whatever, and just listen to it without talking in the car. You're allowed to sing with it as loud as you would like, as long as the music is louder than you. So you still have music. Anyway, that I think
brings
rounds
us to the
out
end of Ask and Ye Shall Deceive.
Right. That segment is done. And we hope you loved it because I really had a good time with that.
We certainly did. I had a blast.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I want to do that one again. I just did it and I want to do it again.
What are we moving on to?
I believe we're going on to Route 66, which is our new segment that we've never tried before.
We're going to dare ourselves to fall flat on our faces with the next segment. So,
buckle in, kids.
Buckle in, because what more could you ask for than to just see a fail or hear a fail, I guess would be the thing.
All right. So, you ready?
I am pretty much ready. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, again,
you know what? I'm going to start this time.
You do that, but would you please explain for the listeners and for me
how
this is supposed to work?
So since this could be and maybe some people out there have sort of already occurred to them, this could maybe be approached from a few different angles.
Sure.
What we're doing is we're still doing a challenge here, and it's going to be I think text delivered, but I'm basically asking in this first and following, I'm asking Race to tell me the locations, one or more of the locations, city, state, country, that are referenced in the song that I'm referencing. And that's kind of the core of it. Can you say one or more of the references in the lyrics?
You're not necessarily looking for the title of the song
or even the artist.
You're just looking for,
right.
If I give you these lyrics, do you remember
the location references that are in the lyric? So let's see how this goes, and I'll get started with the lyric for you to start with. I'm doing 2 lyric clues here to try to make sure this works as best we can.
And it looks like you're going to have to see me again.
This refrain is the first lyric.
And it looks like you're going to have to see me again. That's the first one.
And it looks like you're going to have to see me again. It looks like you're going to have to see me again. And then the second lyric clue is,
flat on the prairies, soil and stone, stretching forever, taking me home. I don't know where this is. On the prairies, I'm assuming, but I can't get more.
I think the first clue will trigger you when you get this, but this is not a terribly popular song.
Okay.
So I didn't know whether you would get it.
But it's also not a terrible song.
But it is a song that is, I think, close to your heart. So it is...
Oh,
Illinois.
I know this song. Yes. I do. Dan Fogelberg, Illinois. Yeah.
Illinois by Dan Fogelberg.
I'm your boy.
Yeah, that's right. You can probably hear the song now.
I can now, yes. Thank you very much.
1974, Dan Fogelberg off of the album Souvenirs. Great song, and a couple other great songs off that album, too.
I'm going to jump sideways for a minute. There was an album that he did with Tim Weisberg. Tim
I did not know that.
Dan Fogelberg, called Twin Sons of Different Mothers.
Oh, I do know that.
Yeah. And some pretty cool stuff off of that album.
Yeah, that was played on locally on the rock stations here.
Yeah.
Got a couple of songs off of that.
Absolutely. So that's one that I think now that you reminded me, I'm going to go back and listen to. I haven't heard it in quite some time.
Yeah. And, go back and listen to Illinois and listen to the Dan Fogelberg song that always really grabs me. And this may be stating the obvious. The Raven, I see the ravens made her nest in your eyes, so on and so. That song is just amazing.
Well, and
it's such
Part
a
of the
great
Plan,
tune.
that's another one.
Part of the Plan's a great song.
Same era.
Okay, so that's kind of how it rolls. So let's see what you got going on.
Okay, so I got one for you here.
I should know this town.
I believe that you should be able to find this on a map, is what I'm going to say. How about that?
I love that. I was just 13. You might say... Just 13, you might say... I was a musical proverbial knee-high. That is going to be one of your John Hiatt references or something like that.
No, but we've talked about this band recently.
I was a musical proverbial knee high. I was just, no, I'm not getting, my mind isn't even giving me a direction.
The song is Nashville Cats.
By?
Lovin Spoonful.
Oh.
Nashville Cats.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Plays clean as country water.
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
That is,
I was just 13. You might say I was musical proverbial knee high. He's got a very strange cadence.
Yeah. I don't think I know any of the words to that song. Probably really,
John
except for
Sebastian wrote it.
Yeah.
Lovin Spoonful, and that's one of
Nashville. I know. I love that too. I know the chorus.
Yeah.
So I recognize the song and I'm hearing the music, but yeah, I don't know.
1966.
I was gonna say mid 60s.
And I was talking with my sister about Lovin Spoonful and John Sebastian in particular.
Yes.
And his dad was a classical harmonica player. He actually was one of the first people to transcribe classical music for harmonica.
Wow.
He was born in the beginning of the 20th century. I would say like 1910 or something. I believe his name is actually Jonathan as well. I can double check that. But
was he paid for that,
yes,
or was it a hobby?
No, he was
paid to be. He was part of an orchestra.
He built an orchestra, from what I understood.
Wow.
Of harmonica players, and specific. And we're
talking
about
there's something
music.
To do with your Saturday afternoon. Go hunt up some of those
it sounded
recordings.
Cool as hell to me, and I haven't listened to any of it or tried to find any of
it.
Right. But it was just interesting as hell that this guy and
I don't know that I remember hearing harmonica in a classic.
I don't either.
Classical
but
piece.
This guy is the premier guy for that.
Sure.
I think I don't think anybody had even considered it before. He kind of paved the way. You know what I'm saying?
My mind is starting to imagine what that's going to sound like. So now I got to go find out.
Yeah. And John Sebastian played harmonica and auto harp and guitar, but his harmonica style was what we've all come to expect as a harmonica style.
Sure.
So at any rate, there you go.
Blues jam.
So Nashville was the answer there. It happens.
Okay, well,
it happens.
We're getting rolling, and that was a song I did not know, but now it's my turn, and I think you should know this. I think you should be able to find this song on the map.
Nice catch there.
Yeah. Here's your first.
A church house, gin house, schoolhouse, outhouse. A church house, gin house, a schoolhouse, outhouse.
It's ringing in your head. You're trying to find it.
It is. Go ahead. What's the next?
This is definitely a song you know.
On highway number 19, the people keep the city clean. What the hell is this? This is definitely just bouncing around the front of my skull.
Reelin' and rockin' jam song, and there are two versions of it that you will recognize.
Okay, I'm going to say I don't know. Nutbush City Limits, yeah, and the Ike Turner version, the Tina Turner version, and the Bob Seeger version.
Yes,
right.
Tina Turner wrote that. The town that it was about the town that she grew up in, referencing.
Yep.
And obviously Bob Seger, the Silver Bullet Band, did a wonderful rendition of it.
Sure.
And that was from 1973.
And that was actually the name of the album.
Nutbush City Limits was the name of the Tina Turner album. And Nutbush City is a town in Tennessee.
Yes.
So there's all that. Now that brings me to another part that is for extra credit.
Okay.
So if you can name an initial point, sort of the point I was driving at was Nutbush City.
Right.
Right. But then if you can name an additional factor.
Sure.
You get extra points.
You get a pat on the head.
You get extra points.
Okay.
And if you accumulate enough points, you can, flush them down the toilet or whatever you want to do.
Trade them in for a t-shirt or a bumper sticker.
Trade them in for a t-shirt or a bumper sticker. Okay. So that is, I did all the formalities, and now it's up to you
to see if everyone else.
To see how my sense of direction is.
Okay. Well, since you got me there, you literally made me fail.
And only to get you back for what you've already done. The lyric I've been given to guess the location about is made it to Loveland Pass in under less than half an hour. And I need more. And what I'm getting is, Lord, it started drizzling and turned into a thunder shower. Why am I blanking? Right off the bat, nothing is coming to mind. Loveland Pass. Oh, wait, no. a melody just came into my head.
Did it hurt?
No, I'm not going to get it. It's going to take too long. But isn't Loveland Pass in the Souths, in the Smokies somewhere? Or is it in the Rockies?
Mountain Range.
It's in the Rockies.
So you just referenced, who did that song you just referenced?
Who originally did it?
Who covered it?
Bob Seeger.
You remember now?
No.
Get Out of Denver, maybe?
Get Out of Denver, baby. Go, go.
Yeah.
I think Get Out of Denver because I know a lot of Bob Seger songs really well. I think Get Out of Denver, every time I think about it,
takes you to a different Bob Seger
No.
song?
It's one of those jams that I just jammed to and only paid attention to the chorus. I was too busy going,
So that was
that's my excuse for not knowing
the
that
answer
one.
for that one. I was obviously
Damn,
Denver.
I should have known that one.
Yeah, especially when I popped it on top of another Bob Seger song. That was Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band performed that. It was written by Bob Seger. 1974 was the year the album was 7.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't know the album. Oh, and by the way, on the Nashville Cats thing, John Sebastian wrote that. It was 1966. Album was Hums of Lovin Spoonful.
What was the name of the album?
Hums of the Lovin Spoonful.
Hums of the Lovin Spoonful. That is a mouthful.
It is. That I obviously
Hums of the Lovin Spoonful. That is, you could do that 5 times fast and never get it right.
So at any rate,
okay,
get the hell out of Denver.
That was fun, and Get Out of Denver, baby, is, I love that song. So, okay, we are so far kind of falling flat on this, but it's fun. And who gives a crap if we fall flat?
Absolutely.
So your next, you should know where to find this song on the map is, I made a footnote that this is Route 66 in spirit because it's definitely not in the United States. The references are not, they're global.
I got a couple that are out of the States. I'll forgive you for that.
So it's just global locations. So
sure. Bodies in the sand, tropical drink melting in your hand. Will be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in, have you got another clue?
Yeah.
Give me that. Yeah, okay, so this is Mexico by James Taylor. No?
Ooh, man. Wait, hold on. Wow, they're kind of similar sounding songs.
Am I wrong?
They're very similar sounding songs. You're wrong. But you know it, and your mind is crossing them up, I guarantee you.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Kokomo by the Beach Boys.
Okay.
Right? Can you hear it? Like they have some similarities, don't they? I think the tempo is really the same.
The tempo is similar, and you're right. I've mixed the songs. Like I've literally,
your brain
in my
went.
head.
Wait, that sounds like this one too, though. Wait, just pick that one.
Yeah. No, very good, very good.
That was written by Mike E. Love, Terry Melcher, Scott J. McKenzie, John E. A. Phillips, and that song was put out in 1988 off the album Kokomo. And wait, because there's extra points. See where I'm going?
Uh-huh.
There are so many places named in that song. Can you just name 2?
Aruba and Jamaica.
Yeah. There's 2. You got your extra points. Hang on to those. They're going to be valuable at some point. But let's just take a quick glance.
Go ahead. You want to list them off
since
I did the last geography lesson?
Aruba, Jamaica, Key Largo, Montego, Florida Keys, Bermuda, Bahama, Montserrat. There's a lot of places named in that song, and that was kind of fun for me to get to go into. So, Beach Boys Kokomo is where that one landed, and I couldn't put a finger on Kokomo on the map. But I could the Florida Keys. I guess that's something to fill the air. What do you got for me, dude?
All right, so I think you should be able to find this
song on a map.
Although I don't know that I'm loving that phrase now that I've heard it 7 times.
I like it a lot.
I'm sure you do. That's
Maybe
why I don't know.
Maybe we should use Globe. Or on...
There's a Globe right behind you there, Reed.
I'll spin it if you don't watch it. Yeah, it's a mighty long way down rock and roll, all the way to Memphis, baby. All the way to Memphis.
I'm going to give you the points, even though it's all the way from Memphis.
All the way from Memphis. Why am I hearing all the way to Memphis?
Anyway, it's a mighty long way down rock and roll from the Liverwood docks to the Hollywood
Bowl. It's Mott.
It's Mott.
It's Mick.
It's Mick.
Well, it's one of the Micks.
It's Ian Hunter wrote it.
Ian Hunter and the Mott the Hoople
But
guys.
the album was called Mott.
Oh, how about that?
1972.
That must have been a subconscious thing. I'm going to credit my mind for,
you
for
deserve
connecting
it.
the dots,
You know,
the Mott dots, connecting the Mott dots
the
there.
Mott dots. Good God.
And so I
Good
can also
God.
say Tennessee. I get an extra point for naming the state.
Okay.
I haven't gotten the opportunity.
We live in Missouri, and you know that Memphis is in Tennessee, and you want points for that.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
I'm getting what I can get.
Whatever.
I want some points, man. Doesn't everybody want points? Okay. You should know where this is without needing to Google map it. How about that?
A nice attempt there. The natives smile and pass along a sample of their yield.
You do know this song, but you probably haven't heard it in a while.
Okay.
And when you last heard it, you were probably not in your right mind, let's say.
Okay.
So remembering it might be a little foggy. Second clue.
Aboard the Thailand Express, we'll hit the stops along the way that we only stop for the best.
So I gave you one of the.
So they're talking about drugs. Thailand Express.
I gave you one of the really strong hints and a location there.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell?
No.
Oh, wow. It is A Passage to Bangkok.
Oh, I do know this song.
By Rush.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That was written by Lex. I cannot pronounce the last name. Zivojnovic. I am so sorry, Lex. Gary Lee Weinrib and Neil Elwood Pert. I'm sorry, Alex, not Lex. Alex.
So written by the members of Rush.
Yes. And Alex that we know is Alex Lifeson.
Right.
So perhaps that's his
I'm betting
original
that's the
real
case.
name, and Lifeson is a stage name. I don't know that much about it. Any number of students of Rush can chime on in and give me some history pointers on that aspect of it.
I want to know why you didn't already know. I would be
exactly when I was a younger, more self-indulgent guy. I knew an awful lot about Rush. Just past, I guess, Roll the Bones, and then, or maybe just before Roll the Bones, and then I had to disconnect from a whole lot of things like that. No sad stories here. Anyway, that was 1976. The album 2112, and again. Well, I guess I can't really hit you on extra points for this because you're not really remembering the song. So let's go through it.
They mentioned a bunch of.
Let's go through it. They were wreathed in smoke in Lebanon. I mentioned Thailand, Bogota, Colombia, Jamaica, Morocco, Afghanistan, Kathmandu. Peru,
I'm
Acapulco,
really going to Kathmandu.
Nepal. I think that's really where I'm going to. So that was fun for me because I love that song. I used to just indulge in that song and things related to that song while I was listening to that song. Do we need to go into that any further?
Yeah, well, I think everybody gets the point.
Everybody gets the point.
You were a heavy drug user at one point. And after you got out of prison, you reformed yourself.
Right. And now I'm on the straight. I've been on the straight and narrow podcasting for 25 minutes.
And a hooker.
And all of those. And hookers and hustlers filled the room and all that.
Absolutely. So I think you might be able to point out where this song goes.
Let's see. That song, She Makes Me Feel Like a River. Oh, I get high. Is that where you... My woman from Tokyo. She makes me see. She's so good to me. And, of course, they're talking about Tokyo, Japan, not Tokyo, Missouri. You'll have to look up and see if there's actually Tokyo, Missouri. And that is, of course, Deep Purple.
Yes. Written by the... was it Mark IV lineup, which would be Blackmore, Gillan, Glover, Pace, and Lord.
And was that on, what album was that on? I want to say it was on Machine Head?
No, that was 1973, but there were like, those three, there were three or four albums that came out like right in a row.
Yeah, they were.
Machine Head, Who Do We Think We Are, Burn, In Rock. I mean, they were like.
Right, they were just churning them out.
Yeah, every 6 or 7 months there's a new album, so I'm not going to fault you for not knowing that one. Who Do We Think We Are, which, by the way, is the name of a previous Mixed Apes episode.
Who do we think we are? That's correct.
We probably
correct.
don't
That's
know.
The reference. That's the way we try to do things. We try to mix goofy references in there and tie it back in. So clever. Apes are so... okay, what do I have for you?
I don't know.
What do I have? See if you can find this on a map.
Big wheels keep on turning. Carry me home to see my kin.
I'm sure you know what that song is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Sweet Home Alabama.
Yes. And there's a reason. You don't need to read the second lyric, but it is relevant. Well, I hope Neil Young will remember. Southern Man, don't need him around anyhow.
Yes.
So the song Sweet Home Alabama, the band Leonard Skinner, Ronnie Van Zant, Gary Robert Rossington, Edward C. King wrote that. 1974 is when it was released on the album Second Helping. And the reason that I did that, super obvious song, like there's no way you weren't going to guess that, right? Is because I was going to do back-to-back, a 2 in a row here. I was going to steal a little thunder.
Look at that.
On a related note, which you may already know, but your first clue is...
You got the spare change, you got to feel strange, and now the moment is all that it meant.
There's the first lyric clue. I think you'll get it on the second one.
See the old folks tied in white robes, hear the banjos, don't it take you down home?
So here's your reference. I'm pointing to it.
To Neil Young. So is this the reference to Southern Man? Is that what this is?
Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. Okay. I was just reading a thing the other day that like there were 2 songs that he took the South to task in.
Yeah.
And both of them, and apparently. Sweet Home Alabama was actually a response to Alabama, not to Southern Man.
Right. Because obviously the song Alabama specifically,
right,
named so, and Skinner had their thing to say back, which is why maybe I should have done those in reverse order because Skinner's response was Southern Man, don't need him around anyhow.
Right.
But they do reference Southern Man.
Right.
As well. So anyway, Alabama, Neil Young, that was fun for me, even if it wasn't for anybody else. 1972, and the album was Journey Through the Past by Neil Young. So I stole a twofer. You're welcome to steal a twofer if you
sure.
have.
Well, I'm actually...
Or you can save that for later along with your points you've earned.
And turn them in for nothing.
Turn them in for.
I will do one. We'll determine whether or not I'm going to do a second one.
My challenge...
I think you should be able to find this somewhere.
And if I can't, am I going to get lost looking for it?
I believe so. I think you got lost long before I met you, Reed.
Yes.
I've known you a long time.
Putting on some clothes, I made my way to school. You're doing it to me again. You're intentionally making me fail. See, you're trying to embarrass me.
You had the cadence pretty close.
Putting on some clothes, I made my way to school. Next lyric clue, please. I found my teacher crouching in his overalls. It's not triggering anything for me.
Really?
Nothing.
It's a very hectic song. Very panicky.
Clothes. I made my way to school. I found my teacher crouching in his overalls.
Anybody?
Nothing.
Anybody?
There's nothing in there.
Okay. Panic in Detroit?
Nope.
David Bowie? No.
I don't. It's not ringing a bell.
Okay. Wow. That's off Aladdin Sane. 1973. Written by and performed by David Bowie.
Panic in Detroit. Am I going to hear that later and
Panic
be like,
in Detroit.
God, why didn't I know? Why didn't that come to me?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. If it had been other lyrics from this song, I might not have known them. It's so, the song is really so kind of hectic,
chaotic.
Right. Absolutely. It's one of those that you kind of have to want to listen to. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I know that while I love Mr. Bowie, there are certain songs in his repertoire that have that property.
And I am going to take the second one, but only because it's going to change the way we're playing the game.
Oh.
Okay.
I am so intrigued right now.
So in this case, I want you to actually mention the song, reference the song title, because I'm going to give you a location.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's kind of a...
Yes, and as we alluded at the outset, and probably a number of you out there already sort of thought, there are about 20 ways
to play this
that you could go at this particular game, which is something that we intend to do with it. If we when we do the segment again, is this kind of thing. We'll approach it from a different angle. Okay, so the where is it at on the map clue I've just been given is we're never going to make that bridge tonight. Oh, wait, it's the whole thing.
No.
Oh, we're never going to make that bridge tonight, baby. Never going to make that bridge tonight, baby. Across Lake Pontchartrain. I'm going to be embarrassed that I don't know this. No. And I'm supposed to know
the name of the song.
The name
Give
of the
me
song.
anything. Give me the artist. Give me the name of the song. Give me the decade it was written in. Perhaps the guy that played bass. I don't know. No, so there's nothing there.
Is it a band from the area?
No.
Referenced?
Not from that area or ours. He's from Indiana.
I am pulling a blanco.
That Feels Like Rain.
Okay.
By John Hiatt.
Yeah. You're bludgeoning me to death. Bludgeoning
Boy,
me.
that's, the visual there is so pleasing. That's off 1988's Slow Turning, which was the album I was trying to remember when I said Bring the Family, and the other album next to it was Slow Turning.
Slow Turning.
Yes.
I'm always disappointed when I don't know the John Hiatt. Not because I'm just disappointed, but because I know John Hiatt is an artist that I should know better.
Yes.
And I have confessed to that before.
A couple of times, like Pretenders, or not Pretenders, Eurythmics.
Sure.
There's a bunch of Eurythmics. Yeah, but I really can't get the words out. A bunch of Eurythmics stuff that we've talked about. And you're like, boy, I should know more Eurythmics. And the truth is, yes, you should.
You should know more Eurythmics.
And more John Hiatt.
And I can say that about a lot of artists.
And I should know more Rage.
But there are, there are some artists who are sort of, I feel like
they're in your wheelhouse.
Not only are they in my wheelhouse, but they're responsible for some really significant things in music. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like you should know them if you consider yourself moderately knowledgeable about sort of music, rock in this case, what we do, rock music history. You should probably be more aware of what this person has done and contributed.
Sure.
I have not. I've triggered by us doing this. I've gone and listened to more John Hiatt lately than I have in the past, but I've always been aware that John Hyatt's an important figure.
Sure.
And I just haven't, haven't sought it out.
Like, it really depends to you and me and the kind of music that we like, the broad spectrum of what we like.
Right.
He's an important figure. To a lot of other folks, they know the songs that Bonnie Raitt make popular.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're just not, John Hyatt's not big to them.
Right.
Right.
They're not looking at it from that perspective.
Right. I mean, I'm a singer-songwriter guy.
His voice isn't their kind of voice.
Right.
And his musical tone in a lot of instances isn't their,
sure.
their thing. It doesn't have a certain twist. Right.
All right, so are we? I believe that's pretty much the end of this one.
We are crashing that car onto the shoulder of Route 66, effectively, and we may have done that actually 6 or 7 times. We should probably call AAA.
Good God, man!
You're welcome. Yes, that is the end of the Route 66 segment, and now we're gonna have some fun moving on to.
Uncontrolled substances.
By the way, we are interested, even though, as it goes with new stuff, you try something new, you're trying to get a feel for it.
I mean, remember how very painful the first parts of
bean enchiladas
were?
Oh my gosh,
that was a breeze compared to the stumbling and,
exactly.
and falling and.
It's true. There's no argument there. So, but what we're interested in, of course, is to know if you all see the value in
maybe
in it. Is it cool
flipping
enough
it
to
somehow, doing it a little differently, perhaps. Any input you got, folks, and we say this all the time, and we can't say it loud enough. Reach out and let us know.
What do you think
out
of
and
it?
Touch someone,
right? And what do you? Because again, that particular concept has a lot of spins.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think a spin on it is?
Yeah, exactly.
We may have it in our head. We may not have thought of it yet.
All right. So that does bring the segment to an end. We're going to move on to Uncontrolled Substance.
Right.
Today's Uncontrolled Substance is actually read. No, I'm sorry.
Topic.
Uncontrolled Substance is.
I think you can come up with a more creative word than substance for the second part of that.
We'll have to ask your wife about that. Is guilty treasures. Today's topic is guilty treasures, and guilty treasures can be defined a lot of different ways. What I'm calling it, how I mean it is, stuff that's not the kind of stuff that I would generally. I'm a jazz guy. I'm a blues guy. I tend to really enjoy complex music.
Yeah.
So like poppy, happy stuff,
right?
Is generally
simple 3-chord.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. Overproduced stuff. It's not stuff that I generally claim to like, even if I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I'm meaning by guilty treasures. But it could be whatever you want it to mean, right? I mean, you might have a different.
Well, that's the idea behind the topic.
Right.
Is
right.
Yeah.
Go
ahead and dare to put it out there and see how ridiculed you get for what.
Well, one of them was the one that brought the whole concept to mind for me was "Rock Me Tonight" by
Billy Squier.
I not only had that album, I played holes in that album.
I have to admit, I did.
And particularly, like, that's one of those songs I would listen to 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just the beat, the hook, the kind of whiny interchanges, not whiny voice, just musically whiny interchanges.
Right.
I loved that album.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't, it was a pop rock.
It was definitely pop.
It was a pop rock whole series of really big hit songs
for him. And apparently he got screwed really bad by the record industry.
Totally remember reading about that. He got screwed by the fans, and they shunned him because the rumors started saying that he was gay just by the silk sheets and the pink top on the video for the song "Rock Me Tonight." But he was not. It was a pretty marked visual statement, for the guy.
That was like, he was openly gay, and they didn't want him to be because he's a rock and roller.
Right. As I understood it, they said people just stopped coming to the
Yeah.
It was pretty solid MTV era. There was,
absolutely.
There was a lot of video music influence there, but he had huge hit songs. Prior to that, a series of just huge hit songs. So what would it have to do with anything if he was wearing pink one time, or if he
by the way, fuck them, whoever them is.
Well, absolutely, right? I mean, all the way to Memphis.
Yeah.
So it's just not. We can't even get started on that, can we? I mean, if the guy's making great songs, let him make great songs. If he wants to wear a fucking tutu, who cares? He's making great songs. Yeah. It's great music. And we are all now, possibly, as a result of that, deprived a bit,
And I'm going to let's go a little bit farther afield with this one, just because of where it ended up. But so Queen and Freddie Mercury. Okay?
Sure.
I'm not sure that Queen was a reference to his sexual preferences.
Yeah.
But if it was or wasn't, I never picked up on it. How did I not know all those years that I was watching him that he was gay until it came out that he was gay? Or, let's go a step farther, Judas Priest.
And what possible difference does it make to the enjoyment of the, with Queen and with Judas Priest, and you're going to talk about Rob and what have you, the content of the music is
no different.
Years before everybody knew Freddie Mercury was gay, the music was just
amazing.
Great music, neutral. It was about all kinds of things, and you could take it as hetero, and you could take it as whatever,
or you could not even concern
yourself with that. It was just great, great.
I mean, Rob Halford,
Judas Priest, also,
dressed all in leather.
Screaming for vengeance.
Yeah,
the whole
thing. and by the way, Judas Priest, we were going to mention this, and I forgot to put it in my notes. This year, they are the first metal band to put out 2 different albums 50 years apart.
Right.
Okay, that's huge.
Right.
I mean,
it's a fantastic accomplishment.
1974.
Right.
And is any of it bad? Some of it's a little more commercial than others, but it's all really great metal. I mean, great metal.
They're
These
Judas
guys
Priest.
have been rocking that stuff for 50
They're
years.
Judas Priest, and now they're old guys, and they're kicking its ass still.
Yeah. And the new album, like, it was already top listing, top charting before it ever came out.
Right. Pre-release, yeah.
So
it's beautiful, right? That's just that's the way it's supposed to go.
Sorry, a little sideways rant there.
And whether Rob Halford prefers to be this way or that way with this gender or that gender,
nothing to do with
what does
anything.
that have to do with it?
Yeah.
How could that possibly?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think that Judas Priest fans stopped listening when he came out?
Right. Is the musical content in any way saying, hey, you know what you should start doing? You should go start doing this now, dress this way toward these people? No, it's just saying music, rock and roll, whatever is on my mind. I'm writing songs. This is great. Okay, we can't go down that any further because there's a lot more to go there. And it's just,
stupid
territory.
Yeah.
So you also have... Or is that your first go?
I'm starting.
You're starting
accede
there.
To
so
you.
Rock Me Tonight by Billy Squier is the root of that.
Right.
And there's a really solid reminder for the past, 5-7 minutes of what we do on Uncontrolled Substance.
Which is just ramble on.
It is uncontrolled, and hopefully it is substance.
Or hopefully it has substance.
Has substance. Okay, so the concept of this Guilty Treasures had me, I made some notes to myself, so pardon me. It had me teetering on the kind of you should be listening to this thing.
Sure.
Because there are a lot of songs that I have in my list for a potential you should be listening to this song episode that are also kind of like, they're a little outside the lane
that we normally
that we're in, which is kind of part of the point of that.
Right.
Although that tends to be newer artists, I think, maybe in that, but nonetheless, I was concerned that I was going to seem like I was coming across that way with this.
Sure.
So I do think there's some potential for crossover there, but I'll try to keep it clean. Turns out, thinking about it, I seem to have a bit of a distinct pattern of pseudo concealment of my enjoyment of a lot of female artists, and some of them are newer and arguably more pop, but certainly more what is currently alternative, maybe even college radio artists. But to touch on that a little bit, artists rather than songs, who some of you out there may not have any idea who these names are. Some of you do.
And don't care for them.
But some of the reason for my appreciating them, even though there are some serious pop queens on the list, is because in spite of all that, whatever you may think of how produced the music is and whether they look this way on their videos or this or that, or whether their songs are sort of teeny boppery, super pop songs,
it's rock and roll or not,
or whether it's rock and roll, their voices are so great. So just if you cut, when I listen to it, I cut through some of the music. There's a lot of musical arrangement that I appreciate. You don't probably get to make a song that sells a million copies or zillion copies without probably having pretty good, musical content somewhere in there. But artists like Sia, who in recent years has seen amazing success. She's in her lane, whatever, but she has a very soulful voice, extremely soulful, and she didn't get credit for her talent until she was really past the age in that genre that she should have. I mean, she was in her 30s when she started smashing, just smashing through.
And most people in that
you're 18 or 20 or 25, right? You're not in your 30s. You're not in your late 20s. Ariana Grande, she's like I don't like her, but there are a few of her songs that just rock my world. My wife makes fun of me when I am like, I'm turning this song up. Sorry. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Sure.
Jessie J is a British artist who has a voice that you would be so astounded by. She is Aretha and Mariah Carey and just some amazing artists all rolled up. She should be known in all circles. Like, her voice is like really unlike her. She always sings very soulfully. She can sing super growly. She has a range that is like world record setting. She's worth checking out, even if you don't like the stuff. Just to hear her voice, you know what I mean? And then sort of in a different lane, Alison Krauss. I have been an Alison Krauss fan for years.
Yeah, I don't know that I personally wouldn't call that guilty treasures, because she's pretty mainstream. B, she's a pretty amazing
but she's
musician.
not rock.
Right, she's not rock.
She's not rock.
No,
you know what I mean? And she's just unbelievable. She has been unbelievable for 35 years or so. I don't even know.
She works with a bunch of different artists.
She has worked with Robert Plant on major projects and toured a number of times over the past 10 years or so, and they have done really, really good music. The two of them are an amazing songwriting and performing team, and they're actually touring now, I think. Also, they're on another tour. I think it's their third album together.
Okay.
So there's, and she's involved in things outside her lane, certainly in a lot of things outside her lane, but the quality of her voice, her writing talent, her performing ability, her musicianship, and kind of touching on the rock thing because it relates to rockabilly, bluegrass. She is just one of the most captivating bluegrass artists. If you listen to some of her bluegrass stuff, oh my gosh, can't get enough of it. Anyway, so that's my confession, my guilty treasure of female singers outside the genre.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about that before. Like, that's a thing where it's like she's got a really either unique, quirky, or amazing voice.
Right.
And it's she and it's, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You tend to like to at least give them a solid listen before you ever turn your head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Right.
But you mentioned bluegrass, and I don't know that this is entirely accurate, but it's certainly my the way that I feel is like, man, I haven't heard a lot of bluegrass that's bad.
Right.
Okay? Like, if it's bluegrass, no matter who's doing it, tends to be good.
Right.
So,
well, I tend to have, I catch myself because what I tend to look for is the bluegrass I get a kick out of, which is the I'm going to use the word twangy, not insultingly at all, but the twangy harmonies, they're so rich, you know what I mean? There's a signature bluegrass harmony. And I tend to look for fast-paced bluegrass music, you know what I'm saying? There are a lot of slow, some of them, you know, shift into being religious, even Christian music, but there are a lot of those songs that are heartbreaking, just, you know, emotionally packed like no other music can be, that you got to listen to them. Maybe you don't know the message or whatever, but the performance is so amazing. Anyway, I'll be done with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I do think, unfortunately, that we have blathered on in general
Yes,
long enough.
We have.
This episode is running way long for us.
Yeah.
So
we're cutting it off.
And not that we couldn't talk about this all day.
No,
That's kind of the concept,
I get it.
right?
There's more. We both have more notes. So if we hadn't said, we are Mixed Apes.
And we are here to comment on the music that we know and love.
Yes, that is the point of You Should Know This Song, our podcast about, as you just heard, music in all the ways that it kind of gets to us, right? Hopefully you got something out of this, something you can go listen to, something to search, a factoid, an interesting, you know, note, an artist you hadn't heard of, a song you haven't heard in a while that you're going to go listen to.
Perhaps even you'll listen to something that you might not have considered listening to before.
Yeah, expand your horizons a little bit. And perhaps you heard 10 or 20 or 30 things that we said wrong.
Yes, which is most likely the case.
And you're going to help us out by saying, hey, you guys, hold on a second. What you meant to say was. So, yeah, all of that, and hopefully you're into it enough that you'll take the time to like it on your preferred platform, comment, send us a message, give us an idea for a lyric clue, a game to play, something like that. Remember your notifications, follow, do all those things for your good and for our good, if good is the word.
Whatever.
For your benefit or our benefit.
So essentially, we're begging for likes.
We're begging for likes, but we're also hoping that it reminds you that if you enjoy it and you want to hear more of it, to remember to do the stuff that tells you when there's more of it available. So, thanks. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, we're out. Mixtapes.